Hey everyone, and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have all you kids and your parents too joining me today for this brand new explainer. We're looking at some incredible stories from the scriptures today about completely ordinary people who are asked to do something absolutely massive. I'm talking about building gigantic structures, traveling across huge deserts, and just doing a great work for God. We're going to look closely at these amazing stories and see exactly how they pulled it off. Okay, let's dive into this.
So I want you to think for a second. Have you ever sat on your floor and built an amazing, towering wall out of blocks? Maybe Legos or wooden blocks, or even a giant pillow fort? Go ahead and shout out yes if you have. It takes a lot of patience, doesn't it? And man, if someone knocks it over, it can be pretty frustrating to start all over again. Well, today we're learning about some ancient heroes who built massive walls and a beautiful temple, but not out of plastic blocks. We're talking giant, heavy stones. And they had to do it even when things got really, really tough.
All right, here is our adventure map for the day. Stop 1, the journey home. Stop 2, building the joyful temple. Stop 3, strong hands, strong walls. Stop 4, discovering the scriptures. And finally, stop 5, doing your great work. Let's go! Chapter 1, the journey home. This is where our huge journey begins, a long, long time ago. So, to understand our heroes, we kind of have to set the scene first. This story takes place a long time ago in a really dusty, sandy part of the world, and it involves a huge journey that thousands of people had to make. But to figure out why they were traveling, we need to learn a new word: captivity. Basically, captivity means being forced to stay somewhere you really don't want to be. Imagine being sent to time out, but you couldn't leave for years? No way, right? Well, a group of people called the Jews had been conquered and taken far, far away from their beautiful home in Jerusalem. They were taken to a place called Babylonia. They were in captivity, which meant they literally weren't allowed to go home. And while they were away, their home city and their beautiful temple were totally ruined. 70! That is a really long time. The people were stuck in captivity in Babylonia for 70 whole years. To put that into perspective, that means grandpas and grandmas who were born in Babylonia had never even seen their real home in Jerusalem. But Heavenly Father hadn't forgotten them. Nope, the scriptures tell us that God inspired a new king, a guy named Cyrus, who suddenly decided to let the people go back home to rebuild their temple. Let's walk through this timeline to see how it all unfolded. So, year 1, they were forced to leave Jerusalem. Then, from year 2 all the way to year 70, they lived in captivity in Babylon, super far away from everything they loved. But look at year 71. God made a way, and it was finally time to go home. Can you even imagine how exciting that must have been? Just think about packing your bags, loading up all the camels and donkeys, and getting ready to walk for months just to finally see the home you've been dreaming about.
Chapter 2, Building the Joyful Temple.
So, when the people finally made it back to Jerusalem, they needed a leader. Enter our first hero, a governor with a very cool name, Zerubbabel. Can you say that with me? Zerubbabel. It's a fun one. Zerubbabel had a very special and very big job. He was put in charge of rebuilding the house of the Lord, the temple. But when Zerubbabel and the people arrived, what they saw was just heartbreaking. The temple was completely destroyed, burned right to the ground. There was literally nothing left but piles of rubble and ashes. Imagine going to your favorite park or your house and finding it totally squished and broken. The people were so sad. But Zerubbabel knew they couldn't just sit and cry about it. They had God's work to do. So they started clearing the rocks and got right to work. And look at what happened next. In the book of Ezra, chapter 3, verse 11, it says, "The people shouted with a great shout when they praised the Lord because the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid." The foundation is the very bottom of the building. Just getting that bottom part fixed made them so happy that they shouted. Okay, I want you kids to pause what you're doing right now. On the count of 3, I want you to give a huge shout for joy right there in your living room, just like they did. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yay! See, they were just so happy to have a temple again. Moving on our map. Chapter 3, Strong Hands, Strong Walls.
So, the temple was being built, but the city around it was still broken, and it didn't have any walls to keep out dangerous wild animals or enemies. So God called our second hero. His name was Nehemiah. Nehemiah's job was to protect the city by rebuilding its huge, thick, protective stone walls. He had a massive job, and he followed these 4 steps. Step 1, travel all the way to Jerusalem. Step 2, tell the people to arise and build. Step 3, keep working even when mean people try to stop you. And step 4, finish the wall.
All right, I want all of you to stand up right now. Come on, up on your feet. Pretend you're picking up a giant, heavy stone block. Oh, it's so heavy. Now lift it up high and stack it on the wall. Phew, that is exactly what Nehemiah and his friends had to do, day after day in the hot sun. Okay, you can go ahead and sit back down now. Great job, builders.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the Lord's work rarely goes unopposed. Think about the hard stuff Nehemiah faced. Mean people from outside the city made fun of him, they sent threatening letters, and even tried to trick him into stopping. But how did he respond? He absolutely didn't give up. The scriptures say the people had a mind to work. They just kept stacking those heavy stones and trusted that God would help them finish the job.
When things got really scary, Nehemiah prayed a very simple but very powerful prayer. It's right here in Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 9. He said, "O God, strengthen my hands." Everyone, raise your hands up high in the air for a second. Take a look at your hands. When you have a hard job to do, whether it's chores or being kind to a sibling who's totally annoying you or doing really hard homework, God can strengthen your hands. He gives you the power to do His work, just like He gave Nehemiah the strength to finish that giant wall.
Chapter 4. Discovering the Scriptures. Let's move to and see how this builds on what we've just learned.
So far, we've had Zerubbabel building the temple with wood and stone, and Nehemiah building the wall with giant rocks. But our third hero, a man named Ezra, well, he had a completely different kind of building to do. He wasn't building with stone, he was building up the people's hearts. Ezra was a priest, and he was also a scribe. But what does that actually mean? A scribe or priest back then was someone who studies, teaches, and protects God's laws. You see, for 70 years in captivity, a lot of the people didn't have their scriptures. They'd forgotten the rules. They'd forgotten the stories. So Ezra's great work was to open up those scriptures and teach the people who they really were and just how much God loved them.
In Nehemiah chapter 8, Ezra brought out the really big scrolls of the scriptures. And when Ezra started to read the words out loud, the people respected God's words so much that they stood up straight, they raised their hands, and they even wept, which means they cried happy tears because they felt the Spirit so strongly. Let's practice that. Stand up straight and tall, open your ears nice and wide, and pretend you're listening to the most important, wonderful story you have ever heard. That's exactly how much they loved the scriptures. And finally, chapter 5, Doing Your Great Work. We learned about Zerubbabel building the joyful temple, Nehemiah building the strong walls, and Ezra teaching from the scriptures. Those were their great works. But did you know that Heavenly Father has a great work for you to do too? Yes, you. Even as a kid, you have important things to build. How can you be like our three heroes today? So the crucial point is that you can do these four things. First, you can read your scriptures, just like Ezra taught the people. Second, you can celebrate the temple. Whenever you see a picture of it, you can remember how much joy it brings, just like Zerubbabel. Third, you can keep your promises to God. And fourth, you can serve others around you. Because whenever you help someone, you're building up God's kingdom, one block at a time, just like Nehemiah. When the work gets hard, remember you can always ask God to strengthen your hands, and He for sure will. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope you all go out and build something wonderful today. I'm going to leave you with this one very important question to think about. What great work will you do today?